This means we will have to cancel all joint checking accounts, savings accounts, credit cards, and then file child support and child support. Fine. There is so much to do until the first day. Darlene sat there in shock. She didn't know what to say. Jeff continued, I'll try to rent an apartment closer to work. This way, the girls will have a bed when they stay over on the nights I have visits. The standard for visitation in most divorces is that the spouse outside the home can see the children every weekend and every other major holiday, unless the spouse at home agrees to more. Jeff, I expected you to date girls a lot more often. There is homework, sports, drama, and other events that they are used to. Both you and them seem to be enjoying their time together so much. Darlene, I will try to be as much a part of their lives as possible. However, you and your boyfriend should be willing to take some of what I do. It's just reality. Weeknights for visits will be difficult because they would rather be home since they have school the next day. If I find someone else, he might have kids too, and I might have to help them with homework and extracurricular activities. You may have to help your new husband with the children. Then there's the problem of storing clothes and toiletries in two places, school transportation, since I may not live on a bus route for their school, and just a disruption to routine. It won't be easy for any of us. This is not going as Miranda promised, Darlene thought. She said her husband would give in at the mention of divorce and offer to continue doing everything he did for the family, but also allow her to date others on the side. I'm quickly losing control of the situation. Jeff, I'm shocked. I need to get some sleep. We'll talk again tomorrow. I go back to bed. You are walking. She was hoping he would come, and she would try to use sex to get him to give in without all this taking responsibility and sharing the money. Sorry, honey, but I need to write down something else before I go to bed. You know how my brain works. The more we do before the first day, the better we will feel. Good night, darling. Darlene hardly slept. She needed to talk to Miranda and tell her about Jeff's unexpected reaction. Miranda would know what to do next. This confidence allowed her to finally fall asleep. She woke up to start her day and immediately noticed that Jeff was not in bed with her. My God, this idiot stayed up all night working on the divorce list. But when she entered the kitchen, Jeff was not there, just a notepad on the kitchen table. Darlene looked into the guest bedroom and found her husband fast asleep. She returned and started eating breakfast. While everything was getting ready, she looked at her notepad. Under the heading, items to change liability were mortgage, homeowner's insurance, gas, water, electric, cable, cell phone, garbage, internet security, car payment, car insurance, health insurance, dental insurance, Amazon Prime, LifeLock membership, LifeFlight, Medevac, and the list went on. This was in addition to all the banking changes they were talking about last night. On the next page was a projection of his new expenses associated with his stay in the apartment and a projected budget showing how much child support she would need to maintain her and the girls' current lifestyle. This meant they were short several $100s a month. He also compiled a list of ways to cut costs. Jeff will have to give up his favorite trips to Waffle House and Starbucks. He will be in a lot of pain, she grinned. Then added to that was her gym membership, the women's group she was in, and eating out more than once a week. He even listed some of the children's expenses, as some extracurricular activities included fees, uniforms, and other necessary materials to pay for. The impact on the children was not part of the calculation of her divorce scheme. On another page, he had a list of things Darlene had to do, which included filling up the car with gas, regular car maintenance, calling a mechanic, calling a plumber, calling a heating and air conditioning repair service, mowing the lawn, washing cars, shopping for groceries, and etc. She had to put down the notepad. Damn it, why doesn't Jeff act like he should and give me what I want? I need to call Miranda before Jeff gets up. Hello, Miranda, this is Darlene. We have to speak quietly because Jeff is sleeping next to us. How did it go last night? Miranda's voice expressed excitement and expectation of a positive response from Darlene. Instead of asking what he could do to make things better, so I wouldn't divorce him. He agreed to the divorce and then started making a list of all the things he was doing now that I would have to do if we let's get divorced. Jeff plans to rent an apartment and take care of the girls only every weekend. He says that we need to actually separate and act as if we are actually divorced so that we can make a more informed decision about whether or not to divorce after 90 days. He doesn't act like divorce really scares him. What should I do? Gift, stupid girl. He's just trying to deceive you. He's bluffing. There's no way he'll sign any real papers. It's a shame that he has to list all the little things he does to make you think you need him more than he needs you. Bottom line, you control the kids and the area between your legs. Only these two things will keep him in line. This is all talk on his part. Don't worry. Soon you and Robert will be doing Mamba in bed, and you will still have a husband and a home. I hope you're right and Robert is worth it. Well, Jeff hasn't actually done anything yet. I'll stay strong at least until I see what he's really going to do. Thank you, Miranda. He gets up. I have to go. Hey, Jeff, do you want some coffee? Darlene asked nervously. Her husband staggered over to the coffee pot and said, "Drinking coffee late last night wasn't a good idea. I hardly slept. Why didn't you come to bed?" Well, I walked, but I didn't trust myself. What do you mean, honey? I saw you sleeping naked and I got very excited. You are still the most beautiful woman I know. I'm afraid I would suggest that if you allowed me to have sex, it would only be pity sex to ease my pain over the divorce proposal. I wasn't sure I wouldn't give up. Honey, we're still married. I am yours and only yours, at least until separation occurs. Can't we act like husband and wife until then? I'm afraid not. I am more confident than ever that separation activities must begin as soon as possible. Although the official breakup won't start until the 1st of the month, it actually started the second you said, "I'm unhappy." It will be hard for me, but I really want to see you happy, even if I no longer play an important role in your life. Jeff, you always seem to forget. It's really just a separation, and we don't need to get a divorce. Relax. Give me a little time to find myself, and I'm sure we'll stay married, and it will be even better than before. I wish I could believe it. I decided to take the day off. Billy can supervise the maintenance crews during the day, so I can set some issues of division into motion. This doesn't take effect until the 1st of the month, so we'll have 90 full days where we can actually experience what it would be like if we got divorced. By the way, I'll get us both more cash than usual. Jeff, I'm unhappy. I want to get a divorce. Although Jeff was somewhat shocked, he was not completely unprepared. They had been married for almost 20 years, but Darlene had been spending a lot of time lately talking to her friend and so-called marriage expert Miranda. Miranda's experience was based on the fact that she had been through 3 divorces. Jeff, can you hear me? I want to get a divorce. Yes, Darl, I heard. But this is such a serious matter that I don't want to answer hastily. I think I was as loving and devoted a husband as possible. I think I was a good father. You didn't mention any problems in our sex life, so I don't know anything about what happened. But after hearing from you, my answer is this. I can't stand the idea that marriage to me will deprive you of the chance to be happy. Although it breaks my heart, I will support you in your divorce. But tell me, is the reason for divorce something that happened recently, or has it been building up for some time? Darlene replied, yes, gradually. I need a little space, a little time to explore other opportunities, meet other people. It is my understanding that the court requires that we be legally separated within 90 days of signing the documents. Eventually, I may change my mind and want to stay married. We may not have to get a divorce, Jeff mused. That's close to what I've heard other people say about their divorces. During the 90-day period of separation, we both date other people, and it is not considered cheating. But in the end, we both have to agree to stop the divorce. However, either of us can proceed with the divorce without the consent of the other party. Jeff realized that Darlene did not fully understand that he would have the same freedom as she did. I thought that if I filed the documents first, it would depend on me whether to continue the marrier gay or go for divorce. Darlene hesitated. Jeff objected. I don't think that's right, but just in case I'll also aptly so that we're on the same page. Isn't that fair? Ooh, I guess, Darlene stammered. Are you saying that you want to get a divorce? Obviously, I was under the wrong impression that I was a suitable husband, father, and lover. No, I don't want a divorce, but I won't stand in the way of your future. Honey, I never said that you were inadequate. You were a wonderful husband, father, and lover. I just want to experience something new and different, spend some time with other people. It might make me feel better. I just need some time. Being legally separated will give me this freedom. Darlene, the fact that you need more than I can give you defines my inadequacy. He was silent for a while, then continued, Have you already gotten a lawyer and completed the paperwork? She ignored his response regarding feelings of inadequacy. No, I don't have documents yet. I plan to use J.R. Lewis. He handled Miranda's divorces, so Darlene confirmed the source of this idea of seeking something more for herself from her marriage. Well, I'll probably ask my cousin Sally to handle my part of the divorce. Sally, bitch from hell, Dar, I know you don't like Sally, but she's a really good person. Her reputation as a bitch stems from her job. She truly fights for her clients, whether they are men or women. Ironically, after the last family barbecue, probably because she had had too much to drink, Sally volunteered that if I ever needed a divorce lawyer, she would handle it for free. Wow, Jeff continued, we have something to talk about. I propose that you spend the next 2 weeks preparing for your divorce. This way we can begin our separation on the 1st of the month. This is fine. Maybe I don't understand why we have to do anything before the separation is over. Jeff explained, well, I guess the purpose of the separation is to see what it's like to be divorced so we can decide if we really want a divorce. This means that the period of separation should be practiced, so to speak, for what life will be like after the divorce, or we won't figure anything out until the divorcee. It can get quite messy. Does this make sense to you? Maybe. I really didn't think about it. Darlene's resolve was weakening. I'll tell you what, why don't we go into the kitchen, grab a notepad and start planning out everything we need to do? I'll put on the coffee. With these words, Jeff got out of bed and headed to the kitchen, leaving Darlene in thought. By the time Darlene got to the kitchen, the coffee was already boiling and Jeff was scribbling on a notepad. Okay, Jeff continued, there is so much to think about that it is difficult to decide where to start. I think we need to talk about children first. What are you talking about? Well, we'll have to tell them what's going on, and we'll both have to say the same thing and try to make sure they don't think our divorce is their fault. Darlene became very worried. Both girls were very emotional and might not take the bad news well. I don't understand why we need to tell them so much. Can't we just wait 90 days and maybe we won't have to tell them anything at all? But dear, how will you explain to them when they ask, why doesn't Dad live here anymore? But why don't you live here? We will still be their mother and father. I figured that you would continue to live here during the separation and that we could go out occasionally without disrupting the children's lives. I don't think this will work, Darl. First, it would mean that we would have to coordinate our dates. One of us might get angry at the other if one of us wants to go on a date one night and the other says it's inconvenient. We might think that the other is trying to keep us from dating. Most importantly, how are you going to experience what it would be like after the divorce if you behave the same way as you do now? Additionally, children may guess or hear from others that we have been seen hanging out with other people. We must tell not only the girls, but also all our relatives and friends. Otherwise, they might think that we are cheating on each other. The worst thing is that I'm afraid that no matter how we explain this to the children, they will probably think that it is their fault. It's unfortunate, but from what I understand from child psychology, it's impossible to stop children of divorce from feeling like it's partly their fault. We just have to make sure we say the same thing and really emphasize our love for them. They are good kids and they will probably adjust eventually, although it may require some professional therapy. Heck, they might even enjoy having extra grandparents from your new boyfriend and my new girlfriend. More gifts for birthdays and holidays. Of course, we will have to coordinate very closely where and when we hold birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. We can barely do that now with only one set of grandparents. Besides, if I stay in the house, you'll have to meet your man at his place or at a fancy motel. It would be wrong for you or me to bring a lover home while the other is at home with the children. Also, we have to figure out what having two families means for our finances. Obviously, this will mean that we will have less money to live on because we will add the cost of renting my apartment and utilities to our current expenses. You will have to get used to paying and taking care of everything that we now share together, and I myself do for the family. Joint assets are usually divided